Good afternoon and welcome to the National College of Art and Design, and in particular welcome to the painting department, the fine art painting department of the National College of Art and Design. And I'd like to welcome you all here today. Today is the 25th of November 2020 and it's the NCAD Open Day. So thank you all for taking the time and for your interest in studying at the National College of Art and Design. I'm now going to share my screen with you so that I can show you a little presentation, which, if you like, is a version of a kind of we could say it's a virtual tour of the department. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen here, make a full screen and begin. If we had come to the college today, you would have come to the top floor of the Granary building here at the campus on 100 Thomas Street. And this is the entrance to the painting department. You can see the notice boards here where students will come in the morning and sign in and be orientated to these studio spaces we see through the glass that comprises the painting department facility. The painting department at NCAD is a pivotal national hub of visual and material inquiry. The department's facilities, custom designed light-filled painting studios, workshops, seminar spaces and testing galleries are housed on the upper floors of the Granary and Design buildings. Through recent innovations, research projects also take place at emergent partnership sites of learning in the broader city and national context. We'll be showing some images of some of those things taking place a little later in the talk. So we walk through the doors and this is what greets us. The light coming in through the light-filled studios. And we see some students there having a few words. They were wearing masks. These were students who were working here in September, graduates from 2020 who returned to the college to, if you like, complete some of the work that was interrupted in the earlier part of the year under COVID. Here's some philosophy of the department. The integration of practice and theory, an interactive philosophy of structured peer dialogue provides the philosophical ethos that situates our studio-based teaching and learning in the expanded field of painting. This holistic approach to the invigoration of painting practice is consistently registered in the quality of students' learning and research throughout the academic year, consistently documented in the studio outcomes provided here by a truly dynamic cohort of highly motivated emergent artists. Here's another image of the daily life of the studio. Here a group of students have gathered to discuss canvas surface materials. We see some linen in the foreground on the table there, surrounded by student notes. The figure in the center holding the discussion is the head of sculpture, Brian Hand, who came by that morning and joined in our discussion with us, with the students, on what we were talking about, these material processes. Reimagining the historical legacy of image cultures is central to our inclusive and innovative approach to the discipline of painting in the 21st century. This discourse of the image frames a broad series of visual concepts and material processes of painting, combining drawing, photography, writing and installation in a synthesizing of contemporary practice that enables the capacity to foster new audiences for art and to realize new innovative career pathways for our graduates. Here we see two individual schedules, one for year 2 on the left and one for year 3 on the right. These timetable schedules specify all the learning that takes place in the department. They're color-coded and they help guide the student through each daily range of activities that they will be engaged with throughout the cycle of the academic year. We see things noted here like seminars, lectures, group critiques, critical cultures electives, and material workshops. A blend of learning that moves from the philosophical to the practical. And at the heart of this is always the context of peer-to-peer, interactive and practical hands-on learning. This is the main project space in the painting department. This is a site which is flexible, has movable walls and partitions. It's equipped with audiovisual equipment for projecting images, but most especially of all, it is used for the staging and the putting on of small exhibitions, works assembled and installed for critique and discussion. And in fact, that's what's taking place right here. This is a group meeting for a workshop seminar. These would happen every week, and the students would have a number of similar sessions like this every week of the year. Here's a student who just joined the year 2 of the department, just in the most recent cycle, and here she is working on unstretched cotton canvas. Incidentally, the canvas we see to her left is a stretched canvas, And that would have been the first workshop of the year this year, where the students learned to make stretchers and learned how to stretch their canvases. We see on the table a palette and paints as well. And again, the student is learning techniques of mixing color and application to these surfaces. Again, another student hard at work in another studio downstairs. And here we also see a range of smaller paintings and larger paintings, research material on the tables, and also research photography on the walls. Here's a little model that a student made to throw light on and to photograph from different angles, and then use this photographic research as the basis to make paintings, which are concerned with architecture and light. In this studio, primed paper is stretched to the wall itself, and this gives a good support and allows the innovation of color combinations for expressive effect. And various different gestures and ways of handling the paint and different methods of application are also being trialed and tested here in this series of actions that takes place as a kind of, I suppose, research experimentation in the studio. Another student here working on speculative pieces at the beginning of a research project, again, taken just the other day. In a latter part of the year, we probably see the student making more elaborate, larger scale paintings and maybe more involved surfaces. But for now, at the start of the year, very much a wide ranging series of speculative works that comprise the research component of the year. Similar things happening here in this studio space. Here's an MA student. Also MA students are also part of our environment here, a mixture of year 2, year 3, and now some MA students also working here. And this student is experimenting with different ways of suspending canvases in space. In fact, this work is now on display at Rua Red Exhibition Centre in Tallaght. We're an outward-looking department, and this image would be a typical example of a studio tour we would have done, where we would have gone out of the studio and gone and visited museums and galleries, both nationally and also here locally in the city of Dublin. So this is the Curlin Gallery in Dublin, with a group of students meeting a curatorial assistant there who talked us through the practicalities and some of the events surrounding this exhibition of work by well-known Irish artist Sean Scully. So everybody looks very pleased to be there. Very enjoyable day. Again, outside the Royal Hibernian Academy in Dublin. These would be particular, very particular sites of learning for us. We'd be taking full notice of all events and all sorts of exhibitions and the full cycle of things taking place in the art scene in Dublin, nationally and internationally. At the Irish Museum of Modern Art, we're now visiting the Wolfgang Tillmans exhibition, and we can see the students are taking notes here. And again, this kind of activity would inform both our studio practice, but also perhaps modules like professional practice. Here we are in the context of the Liberties, not far from where the NCAD is here. This is Palace Projects, which is on Francis Street in the Coombe. And again, it's a studio and gallery setup, artist run. And here we are meeting the exhibiting artist this day, where she's talking about her work, and the students are conducted in a discussion with her around her work. Back in the studio, students are gathering for an afternoon seminar. There would be seminars and lectures related to all the module delivery on the program. In year 2, students study discipline projects and exhibition strategies, and also professional practice. In year 3, students study studio resolution, which is practical hands-on painting and making in the studio. They also study studio research, which is concerned with ideas and concepts and philosophies and approaches. And they also study professional practice, which helps them map out a viable career pathway and helps them understand some of the more complex operations of the entire operation of the art world. Here's a studio-based workshop taking place in the painting technical area. Here the students are learning about various preparations for rigid surfaces, in particular the making of gesso, which is a white fine ground suitable for oil painting. Here the technical officer is demonstrating some of these priming techniques. Students are taking notes and asking questions. And here everybody is helping out with the final part of that process, which is the sieving of the gesso through actually a pair of tights in order to get the correct emulsified outcome that is suitable for application to the surface of a board or another similarly made rigid surface for painting. So a lot taking place here. This is actually open day last year, and we can see the space again being used to meet our visitors and people who are curious and interested in coming to study with us. But also on the wall, we see paintings that were made as part of a project that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes now that we conducted in relation with the Irish Museum of Modern Art. Again, seeing some of the use of the space here in terms of the typical format for the delivery of lectures and seminars, perhaps. And here on another day, the same space, this time with the walls configured differently, and a very well-known and celebrated Irish artist is here conducting a one-day professional masterclass with a student on the subject of career development. Another similar workshop taking place here with another very important Irish curator this time. And here she is mapping out the Irish art world and the various career paths and opportunities available and the different teams and networks of individuals that the students should be aware of when they are, if you like, thinking about the steps that they may take in terms of their career advancements upon graduation. This is a brainstorming session where students are actually interviewing each other, making notes and writing profiles. And again, back to the studio. And again, the work we see here would be most concerned with the studio resolution model or the discipline studies model, which is very much concerned with the practice of painting and making and the understanding of techniques and image and content. Here's a student conducting her peer-to-peer presentation. She's made a short video in which she explains some of the ideas and concepts of her work that she's now showing and talking about with the other students. And then later on in the seminar, she takes them to another area of the space where she has installed these rather enigmatic and strange paintings with antennas attached to them into the corner of the gallery. Students are discussing her work, and some are actually taking notes as well. And they will feed back to her their response to her work, and not just in the session, but probably in the days to come after this. This is a very important part of our learning, the peer-to-peer process. Here we are at the beginning of a project we conducted last year at the Irish Museum of Modern Art. 36 students took part, and here we go, where we're visiting with the curators of the Museum of Modern Art up in the Royal Hospital, Kilmainham. And in the image in the bottom left, we see an actual seminar taking place in the museum context in one of the artist studios that's part of the IMA complex. And we're there using the on-site location of the Irish Museum of Modern Art as a context for our learning. And there's another nice image of us all together, 360-degree image of everybody in the room taking part in that discussion. We were discussing the work of Lucian Freud in relation to the Freud project, which is a 5-year-long project at the Irish Museum of Art concerned with the work of the artist Lucian Freud. This is students' work that took place during that project, to give an example of the work that goes on in the department. And here is a student's work on the wall where they're showing images of the portrait work of Lucian Freud. Again, the students are making work, displaying it and discussing it. And here are some good examples of work that came out of that project. And again, portraiture became a popular subject for that 3-week project. And these are some of the paintings the students made last year as a result of that project. Yeah. Looking at reflections in mirrors, looking at portraits of each other, very much the business of observation, thinking about observation in the studio and how looking itself and observation is the most fundamental and important practice in the discipline of painting. So thinking about processes of looking and processes of reflection, process of visuality in relation to paint making. And again, our immediate environment, this is a painting a student made of the actual painting studio itself. So immediate observation of our surroundings and context, and also the historical legacy, I suppose, of the idea of the artist studio itself become the subjects and themes of these works. There are the students critiquing the work and discussing how the project is going. And then finally, one of the high points of last year was when the painting students took their work to a corporate headquarters of a new building on the quays of Dublin. The Sports and Social Committee of the NTMA, which is the National Treasury Management Agency of the state, invited our students to come and display their work for a number of days in their headquarters. And they, throughout the week, on their LED screens, which are throughout their building, they displayed and profiled all of the student artists' work on display. And then on the opening evening, the artist's work, the young student artists of the paint department, their work was displayed in this way, in this headquarters. We met with the CEO, and we met with all the community of the company. And there we took some group photographs of us all having a great time and enjoying the evening and enjoying, if you like, sharing our work with others in the city. The following day, Students did a terrific job of meeting with the staff of the NTMA in the Sports and Social Club, and they each stood up and made a short presentation on their work. And this is very important because we make sure that the holistic environment of learning extends beyond the studio practice, engages with partners, and also engage in the philosophical and, if you like, the career building opportunity to discuss the ideas, context, and the intellectual aspirations and ambitions the students have for their work. So they're all very well equipped in terms of also speaking to their work. Here's an image taken by the Irish Times photographer Brian O'Brien recently when he came to document the students who returned to the college in September to complete their work for a degree that they didn't get to make in the summer. So this was another, if you like, really nice occasion. And again, really beautiful photos came out here that showed, documented some of the great work students had made last year at the graduate group. And there they are at work there just a few weeks ago, at work in the studio. And finally, the image I'm going to finish with here, again, with another partner organization, this time at Rua Red in Tala, where we went to visit an exhibition here, and a photograph, a great class photograph taken here, 360-degree image of the whole class standing within the installation of painting, a very ambitious 21st century image of painting to end with here today. And my final slide is further contact details here of where I can be contacted. Should you have any further inquiries, you can give me an email there, and you can also find my details on the NCAD website. So finally, I'll just come out of this now, just come out of this share, and just to say just like to say finally to everybody, really looking forward to meeting you all when you do get to visit, when things lift and we do get to visit in the future. And I'd like to wish you all a great day and the very best of luck with all your painting preparations and portfolio work in the months to come. Have a great afternoon and do be in touch. Bye for now from all of us here. Bye-bye.